Found out my wife cheated 12 years ago, 8 months after we were married. Not sure what I should do. My wife and I have had an insanely perfect marriage for the last 10 years. We have been married for 13 years and the first few were pretty rough. We met at work waiting tables back in 2008. We dated for a couple years and ended up getting married in September 2012. Our marriage started out pretty rocky. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week to try and give her the life she deserved. She has the type of personality where she is friends with everyone. She had a weird relationship with our boss before we started dating. Basically, his wife wanted an open marriage so she could sleep around. He didn't want it, but inevitably he had to find somebody to sleep with to make it seem fair. That person was my wife. They slept together a dozen or so times before we started dating. She told me about this before the first time we slept together. She said there was no emotional connection and he was just a friend that she slept with because she felt bad about his marriage. She continued to be friends with him with nothing physical happening. I had found a career that was going to hopefully bring us a great future. She continued waiting tables while she finished school. As the years went on, I got increasingly uncomfortable with her talking to him. I expressed my concern and she told me he's just a friend and basically that I can't decide who her friends are. It bothered me, but I trusted her. We got married September 2012 and we invited all of our co-workers, including him, to our wedding. Fast forward to July 4th, 2013 and she handed me her phone for something. I look down and see text messages from him. I wish I could bring you breakfast in bed. I wish you were here, etc. I said, well, I can't believe I have been this stupid. We didn't even make it a full year. She swore up and down that nothing happened, that there were inappropriate texts and that's it. We were constantly arguing and I was drinking at the time, so there was definitely friction. I chose to believe her as long as she found a new job and cut ties. She did, for the most part. Fast forward a couple more years. We ended up having our first daughter, ended up pregnant on the third round of IVF, and then 2 more within the next 3 years. Life was stressful with 3 kids under 3 and me working crazy hours to try and provide. But we were great. Our lives continued to become more and more amazing over the years. I ended up buying the business I worked for and expanding. My work schedule became minimal. Our kids were all in school full-time, so we would spend the days with each other doing whatever we wanted to do. Sometimes it would be just staying in bed all day. We took family vacations several times a year. Nice house, her dream car, my dream car, etc. It was the what we have worked towards. Ellen, we were finally enjoying the spoils. Over the last 12 years, every once in a while the thought would pop into my head that maybe she didn't tell me the truth. I was always able to push it down because I chose to believe her. Then one day 6 months ago she said something while talking to her friend on the phone. Something about work, but she said, oh well, he's oblivious, in reference to me. Something about it made me spend the next 5 months digging through old phones, laptops, tablets, purses to try and find something that would confirm my worst fears. I didn't find much other than a couple old texts, not from him. Those were all deleted. That led me to ask the question. When I asked her December 23rd this past year, she immediately started crying and said, why now? She admitted to sleeping with him 2x. I believe that to be true based on the thousands of texts and timeline I built over 5 months. Said she was lonely and I was mean to her back then. He was nice to her at the time and she drove to his house and slept with him. She said all the usual. It was terrible. She didn't know. He was small, etc. But she went back one more time a week later. She says she does not know why she went back. She swears there was never an emotional connection. The sex was terrible and it really had nothing to do with him. It could have been anybody at the time. She was just so alone. She swore on our children's lives that it was only twice and never happened before or after. About 6 years ago he sent her an email checking in to see how she was doing. She showed me it and sent him a mean email back to never contact her again. That he almost ruined the best thing that happened to her. We have been on a roller coaster of fighting, intimacy, sadness and me leaving for a couple nights. It's not only that she cheated, it's that she lied for 12 years, that the amazing life we have built was founded on a lie. She has been very open and willing to do whatever it takes to prove to me how sorry she is and that there was nothing else to ever happen. I don't know what to do. I can't sleep. I'm having panic attacks. We have 3 young beautiful daughters and a business we share. Any advice is appreciated. Meeting with my husband after 2 months completely broke me yesterday. I met up with my husband for the first time in 2 months. We had to talk about selling our shared property and the divorce. The conversation was pretty calm, and we even chatted a bit about how things have been. But after the meeting, I completely fell apart. I knew exactly why we were meeting. We needed to sort out practical stuff. but deep down, there was still this tiny bit of hope that he'd show up and say he missed me over these past 2 months, maybe even that he regretted what he did. But he didn't. Not a single word like that. I thought I'd been doing okay these past few weeks, but seeing him just tore the wound open again. He looked good, had new clothes. It was another moment of realizing that this really is the end. He was my best friend for half of my life. And yesterday, we talked like total strangers. Today I woke up at 4 a.m. because I dreamt he stayed with me. I can't stop crying for 7 hours. And to top it off, he told me that our mutual friends had asked him to be the godfather of their child in the middle of all this. I trusted them. I even gave them the keys to my new apartment just in case, and in return, I got a slap in the face. I'm going to confront them, thank for the help, take my keys back, and end this friendship. I'm done with them. I don't want people in my life who not only accept what he did but actually seem to support it. What do you think about this situation? Do I overthink it? If you have any advice, please share.